Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm stepping in as your tough love financial coach today, and we are going to take that high-earning life of yours and completely restructure it into a lasting, wealth-generating machine. Listen, this is absolutely not about clipping coupons to save a few pennies. This is a masterclass in treating yourself like a highly profitable business. Our game plan today is straightforward. We'll diagnose the high-income wealth trap, figure out how to become a prodigious accumulator, automate your wealth snowball, lock in some defensive asset protection strategies, and finally, execute your annual CFO review. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the high-income wealth trap. So, we've got to start by taking a hard look in the mirror. I need to ask you a tough question. If you're making, say, 250 grand a year, why do you feel like you're barely scraping by? Seriously, why does your net worth look like someone making a fraction of that salary? Doctors, lawyers, executives, you guys fall into this exact trap all the time. Researchers call it being income affluent, but balance sheet poor. You're playing incredible offense by bringing in massive cash, but honestly, your defense is terrible. The root of this problem? It's not your paycheck. It is 100% psychological. You're probably caught up in what the authors of the Millionaire Next Door call the better than and better off theories. Basically, the better than theory means the second your income goes up, you start buying luxury stuff, the cars, the watches, the country club memberships, just to prove your status and beat out your peers. Then there's the better off theory. This really hits high earners who grew up without much. There's this immense pressure to prove you're better off than your parents were, so you adopt this super aggressive high consumption lifestyle. But listen, spending tomorrow's cash today, that's exactly what keeps you trapped. This kind of behavior literally splits people into two totally different camps. On one side, you've got the underaccumulator of wealth, the UAW. These are the fake rich. They rely completely on status spending, massive mortgages, and leasing brand new luxury cars every couple of years. They spend all their time just trying to maintain that lifestyle and practically zero time actually managing their money. Now contrast that with the prodigious accumulator of wealth, the PAW. These are the quiet millionaires. They embrace selective splurging, they buy modest homes they could easily afford on just one salary, and they fiercely protect their time and their capital. Which brings us to Section 2, becoming a prodigious accumulator. To actually break out of that UAW trap, you've got to radically shift your mindset about what wealth really is. Take author J.D. Roth, for example. He completely turned his financial life upside down when he realized something crucial. If he owned a business, he'd keep meticulous books, he'd slash costs, he'd drive revenue. So he asked himself, what if I made myself the CFO of my own life? That turnaround happens the exact moment you decide to treat your personal money like it belongs to a tight, efficient corporation. You're not just an employee anymore. You are the chief financial officer of You Incorporated. And as the new CFO, you've got to check your ego at the door. You have to stop looking for a thrill every time you swipe your card. Financial experts will tell you time and time again, boring is profitable. Excitement in personal finance usually just equals risk, high fees, or straight up bad decisions. The absolute most successful, quiet millionaires out there, they know that a frugal, boring financial system is the ultimate flex. They get their excitement from watching their net worth tick up on a spreadsheet, not from flashing a new luxury vehicle in the driveway. All right, moving right along to Section 3, automating your wealth snowball. Now that you're in the CFO mindset, it's time to open up the offensive playbook and build systems that make you money while you sleep. Think about the ultimate quiet millionaire, Warren Buffett. By age 30, he had $1 million. By 60, $1 billion. How in the world did he do that? Simply by starting early, consistently adding to his principal, and just never interrupting the process. He used the mind-blowing power of compounding to roll a tiny little snowball into $1 billion avalanche. Every penny of profit you save and invest adds to your own wealth snowball, and over decades, that growth just explodes. So here's the absolute crucial takeaway. You don't need some vague dream to get rich. You need a ruthless, automated process. As CFO, you've got to remove the human element, meaning your own bad habits and temptations, completely out of the equation. Focus on controllable process goals. Set it up so $1,000 automatically transfers from your checking to your investment account every single month, before you even see it, let alone spend it. You want to build a system that makes accumulating wealth a totally effortless background task. And why are we going through all this trouble to automate? To hit your ultimate offensive goal, the crossover point. This is that magical threshold where your automated investment returns are churning out more cash than your lifestyle actually costs to maintain. If you apply the 4% rule, which basically means you can safely withdraw 4% of your investments each year, adjusted for inflation, without running out of money, you've officially achieved total financial independence. At that point, you work because you want to, not because you have to. Now let's flip the script. Section 4, defensive asset protection strategies. Because listen, playing great offense by building up all this wealth, it's completely useless if it's left wide open to a single lawsuit or disaster. You have to play defense. Forbes lays out exactly how real millionaires build an absolute fortress around their balance sheets. For high earners like you, the risks are no joke. Real estate, for instance, is super vulnerable to frivolous litigation and domestic disputes. The wealthy protect those assets with comprehensive insurance and sometimes even legally structured offshore trusts. Then you have liquid investments, your bank and brokerage accounts, which are prime targets for fraud and cyber attacks. You lock those down with strict cybersecurity protocols, active account monitoring, and by diversifying across different banking jurisdictions to mitigate those regulatory risks. Plus, since you're a high-income earner, your biggest expense every year is almost certainly taxes, so you need advanced tax defenses. Experts suggest using things like private equity to legally defer capital gains and soak up depreciation benefits. You should also be balancing your portfolio with municipal bonds, because those generate interest completely free from federal taxes, which is an absolute game changer for high tax brackets. And don't forget opportunity zones. Reinvesting your gains there can defer or even completely wipe out new capital gains taxes if you hold them long enough. This is exactly how you build a legal shield around that snowball you've worked so hard to grow. Finally, Section 5, the annual CFO review. Look, no corporate restructuring is going to survive without a solid maintenance routine to keep all these systems running smoothly. But before you even look at your investments, you have to ensure your foundation is absolutely bulletproof. The very first step of this routine, securing positive cash flow. Next, you have to aggressively attack any high-interest debt. Paying off a 20% credit card is literally a guaranteed 20% return on your money. And this is absolutely crucial. Fully fund a highly liquid emergency cash reserve. Millionaires usually keep about 10% of their investable assets in cash. Why? Because when the market tanks or a massive medical emergency pops up, having that cash buffer ensures you never have to derail your long-term investments. Once that foundation is set, your actual investing strategy should be incredibly boring and simple. Just set up automatic investments into a widely diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. And once that's running, your only job is to completely ignore the daily financial news. Seriously, stop checking the market. Let that automated index fund strategy just do all the heavy lifting in the background. Reacting to short-term market panic is literally the easiest way to completely sabotage your long-term compounding. But once a year, and I mean only once a year, you need to sit down at your desk for your annual CFO review. Think of this as your corporate board meeting with yourself. You're going to calculate your updated net worth, assets minus liabilities, just to keep score of your progress. You'll make sure your automated savings transfers are maxed out for the upcoming year. You'll double check that your investment strategies still align with your core values, and you are going to ruthlessly hunt down and minimize any investment fees. Like Warren Buffett always points out, high fees will literally eat your returns alive. During this annual check-in, you also want to review your top positions and their ratings. Make sure you're still widely diversified across large, mid-cap, and foreign funds. If one sector went on a tear and threw your whole portfolio out of whack, this is when you rebalance it. It's just basic annual hygiene, but it's exactly what protects you from sudden, sector-specific market crashes. So, as your financial coach today, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. You're making incredible money right now, but what is it actually for? Are you building a generational legacy that's going to provide real freedom for you and your family for decades to come? Or are you just desperately funding an exhausting temporary lifestyle to impress people you don't even really like? It is time to decide if you want to look rich today or actually be wealthy tomorrow. All right, class dismissed. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.